You see, when a woman never calls or texts you first, most men immediately panic. They overthink. They wonder, did I do something wrong? Is she losing interest? But here's the truth, female psychology doesn't always operate through direct communication. It operates through emotional testing and energy awareness. A woman's silence isn't always rejection, sometimes it's reflection. She's observing how you react to her distance. Does your confidence collapse the moment she pulls back? Do you start begging for attention, sending multiple messages, or questioning her feelings? Because if you do, she reads that as emotional weakness. In her subconscious, she starts to lose the sense of admiration that attraction needs to survive. The right move isn't to chase, it's to pause. Don't mirror her words, mirror her energy. When she withdraws, you step back too, not out of ego, but out of self-respect. This pause creates psychological tension. It activates curiosity. Suddenly, she starts to think, why hasn't he called? Did I lose his interest? Has he moved on? That's when the dynamic shifts. You see, in the early stages of attraction, a woman often wants to feel pursued, but not pressured. She wants to know that you care, but she also wants to see if you're strong enough to walk away if your effort isn't matched. That balance between interest and independence is what defines emotional maturity. So, what should you do? Stop over-investing. Stop being the only one initiating. Instead, focus on your growth, your goals, your calm energy. When she sees that you can go silent without bitterness, that you can remain composed and focused, she'll start to feel something she can't explain, respect. And respect is what reignites attraction. Because deep down, women crave a man who values himself enough not to beg for attention. A man who knows that love should flow both ways, not one chasing and the other running. So next time she doesn't text first, don't get emotional. Don't send long paragraphs. Just give space. Let silence speak. If her feelings are real, she'll come back, not because you forced her, but because she felt your absence and realized your worth. In female psychology, silence isn't rejection, it's a mirror. What she wants to see reflected in that mirror is not your neediness, but your confidence. When you master that, you'll never chase validation again, you'll attract respect, loyalty, and peace. Women communicate differently from men, and that difference often leads to confusion and emotional frustration in relationships. When it comes to communication, women tend to express themselves in emotional and indirect ways, while men usually rely on logic and straightforwardness. This difference in communication psychology plays a huge role when you notice that she never calls or texts you first. The male mind often interprets that silence as disinterest, rejection, or lack of effort. But in reality, the female mind doesn't always operate that way. Many women use silence not as a message of rejection, but as a subtle psychological test or emotional signal. They want to see how you will respond when they don't initiate. It's less about ignoring you and more about observing your behavior in response to uncertainty. When a woman doesn't reach out first, it can stem from her natural desire to feel desired. Deep down, many women associate being pursued with being valued. They feel emotionally fulfilled when a man shows consistent effort, not because they want control, but because it reassures them of the man's genuine interest. So, when she stays quiet, she might be testing how much initiative you'll take. She may wonder, will he notice my absence? Will he care enough to reach out? It's not always a game, it's an instinctive process of seeking emotional validation. Another layer of female communication psychology involves fear of rejection. Many women, even confident ones, carry emotional caution from past experiences. They may avoid texting first to protect themselves from potential disappointment. It's a form of emotional defense. By letting you make the first move, she avoids vulnerability. This subtle resistance is part of how women evaluate safety and emotional investment in a relationship. They need to feel that they can open up without being left unappreciated. Men, on the other hand, tend to read silence as an immediate negative sign. But in female psychology, silence can be a test of patience, emotional control, and value. A woman observes how you manage emotional uncertainty. If you become anxious, needy, or start chasing desperately, she subconsciously perceives you as emotionally unstable. But if you stay calm and composed, she begins to sense strength and maturity. That quiet confidence communicates that your self-worth doesn't depend on her attention. And that very mindset becomes attractive to her. It's important to understand that women often communicate through patterns, not just words. A lack of initiation doesn't automatically mean she's not interested, it could mean she's responding to the energy you're giving off. If you're overly available or always initiating, she might pull back because the emotional tension that fuels attraction fades away. But if you mirror her pace, she becomes more curious. In her mind, she begins to question why you're not reaching out as much. That curiosity leads her back to engagement. So, when she never calls or texts you first, don't rush to conclusions. Observe instead. Understand that her silence might be a reflection of her emotional rhythm, not rejection. Female communication psychology teaches that women express feelings through behavior, distance, and energy shifts. If you can learn to interpret that without reacting emotionally, you gain control of the situation. True connection happens when you stop chasing words and start reading emotions.